All right. Welcome back for another episode of FloorSeats. I go by the name of Tax. I got my man, Jetstream Zan.
Jetstream Zan. Jet Set. Well, it's Jet Set Zan.
Nah, Jetstream sounds better.
Jetstream.
If you played Metal Gear Rising, there's someone on there, Jetstream Sam, and he's like a beast. Look it up.
Damn. All right.
Look it up.
I gotta look at that game though.
You may or may not know this, but we're still in quarantine. So
very true.
Yeah, we're doing this from home.
Yep, and for home for me is Namek. For you, don't recognize it, but you know.
Yeah, you got to play PSO1 to know.
Oh, PSO1. I was about to ask if that was on PSO2, but
nah, just PSO1, I believe. Wait, no, that does look like 2.
Damn, my man lost. My man.
Yeah, that looks more. Yeah, that's 2.
Sunglasses and Advil. Last night was Mad Real. You don't even know what you had, dog.
Nah, because
what planet you on.
2 ended up going through and like redoing a couple places from 1, so that's probably why. I remember the tower doesn't look the same in PSO1, so.
All right, then bet. But hey, how you been, fam? How's the week?
Been all right, man. It's been warm for the most part. So
yeah.
You know, I've been chilling, getting outside a bit. You know, nothing too crazy though. What about you, big dog?
Same, being outside more, taking more walks, longer walks. Speaking of the heat, bro. Tell me why I was during my walk yesterday, right? Just going down it's going down the street in my neighborhood by like Ashmont and whatnot. And tell me why before I pull up on the station, I just did like my whole calisthenics routine, did some hit with some weights, not too crazy. So I was like, let me just take my walk. And I was heading down the street and I'm about to hit the turn and head to the station. And I'm only one, mind you, I'm gonna say this now. Like, I'm only one probably between like front and behind me. Only person like on that like good like 2 streets, like 2 set like I would say 2 blocks, like right there, if I could just see in front of me. And then I just walk by and this car just drives by mad quick by me, but I hear the distinct words. Hold up. Let me pull up this shit. My bad. It was like my phone was driving crazy. Nah, yeah. Like, tell me why just some random females just drove by and was just like, "Yo, hey, thickums," and just mad quick, and then I didn't even get to see their face. They were just in a whip, and I just heard them while your homie just walking, trying to learn some French on his walk through some Duolingo, and then like Shorty just comes and just like, "Oh, hey, thickums," and just out, and I'm just like, "Yo, this summer is." I might need the belt.
I'm worried for you if she had that deep of a voice saying, "Hey, thickums."
First, all right, this is my. I'm not gonna try to impersonate.
She sounded swole.
She sounds. Oh yeah.
She sounded husky.
I don't know. Oh yeah, you interested? I'll send it your way. Look at you getting
I said I'm worried for you.
Oh okay.
Nah,
dog, that is not how she sounds like. I'm not gonna do no voice acting.
You made her sound like she got steroids in her body.
Nah, dog, I don't know. You're right. Maybe I don't know. I'm not saying that's how she sounded like, but I mean, I didn't see her. She could have still been veined out in that whip. You never know.
She could have been mad swole.
Dog, either way.
She wasn't even driving. She was doing a Flintstones.
It's just straight up, just all quads, just moving a coupe uphill. By the way, because she was about to hit from where I was driving down. She was gonna drive uphill, so she's doing Flintstones, bro. If she's doing the Flintstones uphill in the coupe,
whoa,
chill.
And she called you thickums. That's wild.
That is wild. That's what got me. I was like, thickums.
She's a Praetorian, bro. She's a predator.
She's
she's a predator.
I'm just thinking predator, dog. I'm just thinking like straight up like Alien versus Predator, bro. She has like stealth. She got the whole suit in the trunk, bro. She's like, oh yeah, I about let Shorty, let homeboy get away. Pulls over the side, pulls
No,
out the
you were
suit.
right, Shorty. Let Shorty get away.
Nah, she's cut. Nah, this is her. She's.
I know. She's calling you Shorty.
Nah, I'm already saying she's doing the Flintstones, and she's predatorial. Shoot, you already know. She's pulling out the stealth suit, infrared. What was the net? What was it? The plasma net, bro. Bro, I ain't trying to get yoked off these streets right now, B. With COVID going on, I think honestly, yo, it's that time. I think summer is coming. Summer is now. Forget spring, yo. I think the mentality with people right now is being inside for all this time. Yo, summer's now. People are jumping the gun. People are shooting from the hip. That's what I'm seeing.
Being crazy.
Yeah, in all types of ways. So
yeah.
I wasn't even wearing crazy, bro. I was just shorts and some like an Under Armour short sleeve on, dog. Not even. I mean, I know I've been cutting, and I'm like, ooh, okay, you boy been cutting that like that, dog. And I wasn't even. I was just walking, but I'm just, well, just be careful out there, dog. You gotta be careful. If you hear breathing or hear steps, there's no one around you, shorty could have the stealth on, the predator stealth on. That's what this summer's about to look like. But no, that just pretty much just wraps up my week. Just about so it's hot, and yeah, for y'all out there just tuning in, it's gonna be a hot summer. And I mean, I'm saying it's summer now, so when it's actually summer, it's gonna be even hotter summer. Just listen to your Black Kryptonian. He knows what he's talking about, y'all.
Where do you want to start?
But I say let's start. Let's start with Paul Pierce. Let's get through this first, because I found it really interesting. So just Shannon Sharp, I was just looking at the other day. Shannon Sharp, he put up his post on IG, pretty much about and let me say here LeBron. So Paul Pierce apparently spat on LeBron or spit on LeBron. I don't know if it's metaphorically or physically, especially in quarantine right now, but. It's pretty much Paul Pierce just the way the Shannon Sharp like in the IG video was just saying like Paul Pierce is more or less just jealous of LeBron, and the man's salty, man's upset for whatever reason, I guess and he just takes it to the point that it falls into the category of what did I accomplish, like in terms of him, like he's talking as if like in Paul Pierce, like what have I accomplished and what did I like my goals when coming into the league, and then what did I actually achieve? Like no, what is my aspirations coming in? Like everybody coming to league being trying to be the best, whatever, and what did he actually achieve? And I guess now you look at LeBron, like people are forever just looking at LeBron as basically like I'm saying the argument that we hear all the time that's been going on forever, just like LeBron's low-key, like, no, LeBron's the greatest of all time. LeBron and Jordan, that's the comparison. LeBron's going to be better than Jordan, this and that. The third, and I know Paul holds himself in high esteem. So basically what Shannon Sharp was saying, that he understands that Paul holds himself in high esteem, and he understands that you feel some type of way as a former basketball player himself, who strives to achieve the same thing all players do in the league, is just basically be seen as the best and be recognized. And that Paul, he understands how Paul feels. And he's coming from someone football is similar, but he thinks Paul took it a little too far. And he is crossing the thin line where it comes from giving and receiving respect. That he could feel some type of way about LeBron, or basically like his achievements comparing to his own, but there needs to be a line where he needs to just give him the respect that as a man and as like another athlete, that he should give him that respect first and foremost before letting his feelings come into play and affecting his actions. As you can see, if he actually did spell LeBron, I'm like, ooh, I mean, dog, LeBron's a whole ass nigga, bro. I ain't trying to score up with him, dog. Not in the alley or in daylight, unless I have a gun. We already know, bro. That's the only way I'm even playing field if I'm confrontating with LeBron. I need a firearm.
You know,
But you tell. But yeah. My bad if I cut you off.
The thing, I think for me, why what I'm confused about is that like I don't know why the disrespect would be there. I mean, granted, they had their time where they would play against each other, in the Eastern Conference often, especially when LeBron was just starting. Um, but Paul Pierce is accomplished in his own right, so it kind of confuses me why the hate. Maybe it's something like, well, I mean, or disrespect or whatever. I mean, I don't know if he spit on him like literally or like metaphorically, but literally, nah, like hands need to be thrown. But metaphorically, it Paul Pierce is in a rare position where a good like 80 to 70% of the league is not going to be, which is like he's won an NBA championship. He's been a 10-time All-Star. He's won 4 All-NBA, titles. He was the Finals MVP for that NBA championship he won.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he's accomplished a lot more than many people who aspire to play the sport will accomplish. Now,
in their whole
LeBron,
career.
yeah. Now LeBron has, accomplished more. But the other thing is too is that like LeBron came in straight from high school. He didn't go through college like other people. Him and Kobe did the exact same thing. They came straight from high school and they had that time to grow in the league rather than going through a college basketball system. So LeBron has more seasons. He's gonna have more seasons under his belt and stuff because he jumped in like immediately after high school, like 18 years old in the league, signed by the Cavs.
And that's nuts too.
Is it reasonable
ball at 18, just straight?
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's reasonable to think that people can get jealous. Like that's perfectly reasonable. I understand. Because it's like you like because LeBron like what has like 3, 4 Finals MVPs off. If I'm thinking correctly.
I think it's 4.
I mean, not
I think
Finals
he's at
MVPs.
3. He was I think it's 3, and he was going for 4. Isn't that what it was? I feel like
no, it's
he has 3 rings. Yeah, he has 3 championships under his belt. And he was going for the 4th. I mean, his goal was, I think it was for the Lakers.
Yeah, because he's 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So because he won 2 at Miami and then
which
1
is crazy stats
Cavs.
still too. 3 out of 5 of the champion. 5 out of the 5 times you went to the championships.
No. He's made it to 8.
He's made it to 8? Or
yes, and won 3 times.
Oh. Huh. Actually, even then, those numbers are actually even still way, way better average than, like you said, most of the people in the league.
Yeah, I mean, like when you
get to go to the
when you start comparing them to the greats and stuff, like he gets compared to like your Jordans and your Kobe's and stuff. It may not be like the greatest record then. Cause I think Kobe won 5 and Jordan won 6, but Jordan's 6-0 in the finals. Either way though, like right, Paul Pierce was a big figure, but he didn't get the same kind of adoration, I'd say, that, LeBron had gotten. LeBron came in at 18, was immediately, dubbed like King James, like the basically the new Jordan, like the guy of the NBA, like, and everybody had to deal with that though. So, I mean, like, for me, it's just a bit odd that, like, I feel like there's got to be something deeper because Yeah, like he won 2 less rings than LeBron did, but you know, aside from that, like unless they have like a bad personal relationship, you know, I want to believe that Paul Pierce is better than that. Where it's just like maybe something behind the scenes we don't know is happening, rather him, just being like just kind of hating on his legacy and just being jealous. You know what I mean? This is
Oof.
completely from the outside looking in, not knowing everything, but
I can give you some context real quick. I just did
all right.
some looking up, and yeah, it looks like it is. It is as Shannon Sharp was describing it. And I'm looking at like Sporting News, like this quick article on Sporting News, and the headline is like Paul Pierce confirms beef with LeBron James started after he spit at Cavs' bench, and I think it even maybe even a little before then. I mean, they also mentioned that um, it started because people said Paul Pierce had periods of time where he exhibited like traits of just high amounts of hate. Like he just be hating like on just hating on niggas, hating on players. Um, just just being very vocal about it, or just like showing it some type of way how he feels. And especially one of them was like they were saying like his hot take, like he claimed that LeBron wasn't among his top 5 NBA players of all time. Because the other thing too is that like no one like in the conversation, like everybody's like comparing LeBron to Kobe, comparing LeBron to Jordan, like you say, like to all the greats, but no one really, you don't hear the argument all the time comparing LeBron. I'm not saying LeBron, like Paul Pierce to Kobe, Paul Pierce to Jordan. So like you're always like, I mean, I think as a player who you strive to be the best when you during your time in the league, and then now that your time's over, and then now you're just constantly hearing about and let me send you this too, dog, while I'm here. Like you have people in the league that even as retired, I mean he is still around the game as so much as being on Sports Center, as being like ESPN as like a commentator and a sports analyst. um he's always constantly in the conversations like of the game that involves when it comes to LeBron. So I feel it feels like maybe he hasn't mastered separating his Paul Pierce, the basketball player, with Paul Pierce, the analyst. I wish I could I don't know if you pull up the article if you want me to throw it your way.
No,
Um,
the other thing too is like, yo, Paul Pierce is like he's low key gangster. Like he came from Oakland, like all that kind of stuff. Like, it's kind of hard to like, he may have just been a hothead,
I
and like,
feel that too. I hear that, but I mean, I guess people are not. I think people are just not for putting up with like that attitude. I don't know how to put it. Like putting up with that type of like attitude with Paul Pierce. Like it was
well,
just like even
so what I will say is this: I think on the court it's cool. Like, well, I'm not gonna say it's cool, but it's more acceptable on the court because it's competitive. Now that you're retired and you're an analyst, it's not so much respected. Like, you shouldn't be taking your personal feuds out as an analyst. Like, when you're a player, then you have an avenue to kind of handle that because you're gonna play against this person. There's like 32 teams in the NBA. Like, y'all gonna play each other at some point.
mm,
But as an analyst, you're supposed to leave all that personal stuff out of it. And I just think it's like, regardless how you feel about the man, like you need to be as unbiased as you can. Now, granted, Shannon Sharp is like the biggest pro LeBron person you'll ever see on TV.
real talk.
But,
Dude
you
got the
know,
goat
even
mask.
still,
No.
like is it's not good, especially like on national television as an analyst. You're expected a certain professionalism and stuff, and then you're
Right,
taking it.
because you're giving out information that people are taking for like actual like knowledge. People are taking his analyst like to heart in terms of just like no, this is someone who's played the game, accomplished a lot during their time, their career, and their NBA career. And now that they know so much about the game, because Paul, like he was, because I mean he was team captain for also of his team. So like, and he was also like the guy who was like was making the plays. So he like Paul has a very interesting look at the game that I think why he became into the sports analyst role, or if it was offered to him, what happened in the first place, because of how much he like how his outlook at the game, not only as a player but like in just like multiple scopes. Whereas when it comes to like playmaking, calling shots, like even you get what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah.
just pretty much that, like, when you're in that position again, now that you're in a position of an analyst more so than a player, like, you just gotta, you just really do just gotta, switch modes. And, and I think, it's not a lot like to expect that Paul to kind of keep his ego in check. Because I mean, like, and I'm just, to give more context to y'all who's listening, and for you for this real quick before we wrap up, was just like Kendrick Perkins was just saying like that basically during one of the, he said a meaningless, and this is the article quote, a meaningless preseason game that Pierce at the Cavs bench like pretty much literally tried to spit in LeBron's eye, like just because, and as a result, you know, I mean, it happened in 2004. They said this happened a while ago, but it's like I guess it just carried over like throughout time, and then just like, and then there's just the underlying argument that Paul Pierce just never liked LeBron. Just like even when they're in the season playing together, like there's always been some type of like animosity and hate towards LeBron because of how people view him. And I think just tying this back to what Shannon said, I think if anything, it's just like you're able to you can feel however you like however you want to feel. However you feel is how you feel. But it's just how you respond to those feelings, and it's pretty much, will you let those feelings get in the way of giving a certain level of respect to somebody, whether not just as a player but as a man. And it's just like, bro, if someone spit in my eye, I don't care for whatever reason, they better be ready to throw on some gloves. Like you have to feel some type of way to do that to somebody, especially to spit in somebody's eye. Like out of a lot of things you can do, like yeah.
Yeah,
But
no, and I agree with Shannon because I mean I've explained this to people before. I'm like, you're never wrong for how you feel about something. Like those are your feelings, those are your personal feelings. Now, how you act because of those feelings,
right,
like the action is wrong. You can not like a person, and that's perfectly fine. Like people have their own opinions, they have their feelings, but the moment you do something because you don't like someone, like then you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like with all the BS going on in the world right now, like, you know, this is stuff that happens where it's just like, yo, like you may not like me, but that doesn't give you the okay to disrespect me. It doesn't give you the okay to, you know, do like any kind of bodily harm to me or to like, disrespect me on a public platform. Like at the
right.
end of the day, it's just like, yo, like I get it. You don't have to like me. That's fine. But we need to coexist as humans. And like, because Paul Pierce, is, an ESPN analyst is like, yo, you gotta get over that shit, yo. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like you're not
Yeah,
even
like
in you're not even in the league no more. Like
right. No, and that's the thing too. I think at that point it's just like at that point, like you're not striving, like you're no longer in the race of, and maybe it's a personal thing. It's still to me at the end of the day, you're like, you're always a basketball player, like Shaq and Kobe and just like all the greats, like, it's in their blood. Like I know, like we said, like Paul, we know Paul. Paul loves the game. Paul loves basketball. That's definitely clear with his time here in the Celtics. It's overly clear. The man loves the game. But at the same time, I think for the love of the game, you got to be, choose not to openly blind yourself with how you feel. And just to wrap up, I mean, even like Perkins was just like, he feels like it's like he was saying like, yo, it has to be that personal, because he's like, no in hell that like you could say that LeBron is not top five. You may not have him as the GOAT. It's okay not to have him as the GOAT, but to say that he's not top five, that's just crazy.
Yeah, no, he's accomplished a lot. Like, yes, he may not have all the I keep wanting to say Super Bowl, but all the NBA titles and stuff like that, but that doesn't take away from his accomplishments. You know what I mean? Like, he's had one of the greatest comebacks, and if not the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. Like, there's a lot that he, has accomplished that you can't discredit him for just because you don't like him.
Facts, bro.
Like, at that point, then yeah, it's hate.
It's hate.
But
First,
what I will say though is that Celtics team back when it was like Garnett, Pierce,
yeah.
Allen, Rondo, Perkins, that Celtics team was pretty gangster. Like all of them niggas were thugs.
Yo.
Every last one of them niggas was thugs.
Oh man.
This
Yo,
is
and
back when
apparently I
this is
remember
back when
my
fucking Garnett was like, "This is a bar fight. It's a bar fight." I'm like,
God damn,
yo,
that was a highlight of being a Celtics fan. I think that was the best time to be a Celtics fan. Real rap. But I will end with this though, because I just remember what Shannon did say, that there was even like Paul even had like feelings when he was still playing, that even when Ray Allen was being traded to the team, like he even had felt some type of way about that, because like Paul Pierce, he wanted to be the star. I think what it was, all of it was, even Shannon, I remember Shannon was thinking, like being the star player of your team. Like Paul had that image for him on the Celtics. So like he wanted to be the star player. So then when other people started come in, like especially with Ray Allen, he mentioned that there was tension between the two of them, because Paul felt threatened that Ray Allen was pretty much going to come in and be the star of the team. So this is not anything, like even with LeBron, even taking LeBron out of the picture, like this is not his new behavior, like with Paul Pierce. And I mean, my man Paul, man, you've done a lot, man. I think you don't have anything to prove to anybody. I understand if you need to prove more to yourself, but this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't it. It ain't putting you in a good light. Ain't putting Boston in a good light. And this is like why people feel.
well, yeah, I was thinking that too. Maybe it's the whole like, wanting to be, the star player, in which like in some sense he was, but at the same time, it's like until Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett came, it was the big three. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, whatever.
Nah, yeah. I think, to wrap it up, we're just saying, Paul, just, take a back seat, like hold that loogie, like take a second to think before you hack that loogie at the next Cavs bench, bro. Because Lakers now, it will be Lakers bench. Because I mean, come on, man. You've done more. You're bigger than that. You come on, man. Come on. But just to keep the ball rolling. Just first off, before we continue, shout out to anyone just tuning in or just following us for episode 6, FloorSeats. If you haven't already, like and subscribe if you like what you see. Definitely put in your comments. Let us know what you think about Paul Pierce. If you're a Paul Pierce fan, if you're a Celtics fan, or that my man definitely was out of line about King James and the GOAT that he is, because I'm also a LeBron fan. Just putting that out there. So that's why this is covering this for in the first place. Relax, Paul. That's the moral of the story. Relax. In other news, next I would say people, group of people, whatever you want to call it, that needs to relax is Kellogg's, because Kellogg's out here doing the most with redesigning Toucan Sam's, just Toucan Sam. So they redesigned Toucan Sam. I'm just going into it. They redesigned Toucan Sam, bro.
Bro, that shit's trash.
Bro, that he don't look right. That boy ain't right.
It looks like 6'9".
Wise man just said, wise Texan man who has an affinity for propane once said, that boy ain't right. And boy, that boy ain't right. I had to, But though Toucan saying that boy definitely ain't right.
Bro, it's like
Definitely ain't right.
It's like they turned it into 6'9".
Bro, yeah, no, that's what it was. No, that's what it's like. They took like so basically, if y'all haven't seen
it looks like a Cartoon Network character.
Do you want me to pull it up, or you know what? We'll probably do a clip on it.
Nah, I've seen it. Like,
no, I was gonna pull on the share screen. People who peep, you know, we could pull that up. Be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Make sure I don't got anything all crazy up here though. But nah, it was just like, yo, like he looks like. So what they did pretty much is like what I think they took the character, right? They really just cartooned the hell out of him, because I think what it is, and now it's like what people are into. Like if you look at a lot of things that people are into nowadays, or people shows that people like you know, like people had like their affinity for Adventure Time, like Rick and Morty, like you know, like shows like that. And then I feel like they just took Toucan Sam and drew him in a way as if he was gonna be like he's gonna appear on that show. It looks like an Adventure Time character.
oh no, he looks like you ever seen Amazing World of Gumball? I think.
Fact. There we go. That's actually yes. Yes.
Yo,
He
this
looks
computer is
like
listening. I typed the word "the amazing," and then World of Gumball pops
World
up.
of
And
Gumball.
Google, they gotta stop listening.
Google, stop listening. Nah. And Google pulls up your search. It just sends you nah.
Man,
Mad
last week
teeth. Nah.
Siri done listened, and I'm like, damn,
Nah, Siri listens, bro. Siri just
that
don't
shit
gotta
scared
hold
the
her
shit out
tongue.
of me.
Yo, Google listens, bro. Google listens. Google is quiet about it. Same there with Siri, but Siri just will try to make it sound like it was your idea. Siri's like, did you mean this? I'm like, Siri, I didn't even bring that up. But okay, you listen. All right, you listening. All right, baby girl. But no, this is you know, circle back. Toucan Sam don't look right. They pretty much cartooned the hell out of him. Like people were just talking about his wings. Like they gave him like wing arms. Like dude don't got feathers. It's like he just got like flippers. And they gave him human teeth beneath is beneath his beak. Underneath, like he has a beak still that they turned it from having the stripes to basically a rainbow pattern, like just like a lava lamp looking rainbow pattern.
Bro,
He has teeth, bro.
if
You
you
know,
put
I understand what they're going for. You don't look right, bro.
peep game, right? If you put your thumb over the beak, like,
You
and just look
better.
at the rest of it, it looks like a gumball character.
All right, Toucan Sam. The thumb over the beak.
Yeah, just put your thumb over the beak.
I'll use my other thumb. What the fuck am I doing?
You're
All right, let me
probably using
widen
your
that.
right thumb and blocking his face.
Shut
Like
up.
if you block the beak,
I'm literally like holding my thumb side. Look at it. Okay, now I have a picture that's too big for the beak. Yeah, you know, cause that's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't like. He looked like they had somebody from Cartoon Network. I won't be surprised if they had somebody from Cartoon Network come through and like just do the redesign, or they had somebody who was just like, yo, you need to just watch mad cartoons that like people just like are just like just rock with.
well,
Like
we're not the target audience. At the end of the day, people are going to be upset because it's like, oh, it's not what I grew up with. And I'm like, well, you're also not eating Fruit Loops, so shut up.
that there that because I mean I'm saying
Basically,
damn, I don't like, I feel the type of way. I'm like, damn, I don't know about this design, but I'm like, when was the last time I had a bowl of Fruit Loops?
yeah, like I'm not going to
I
sit
can't
here and
remember.
pretend like, oh my god, like it's just horrible. I'm not going to support Fruit Loops because at the end of the day, I don't buy Fruit Loops, so it doesn't affect me. I'm not the target audience. Like the target audience are children, and this is what children see on Cartoon Network and stuff like that. You know, between that and 6ix9ine, they were like, "Look, we got something here, man. Like Rainbow's in, Gumball's lit. Let's do this."
Gumball is lit. No, I mean the Amazing World
Nobody
Gumball.
cares about your 23-year-old ass that doesn't even buy cereal. That like most of these people complaining can't even are people that are like college kids that can't afford like a pack of noodles, and they complain about
Girl,
some
that's a box of cereal.
Fruit Loops that they're not gonna buy. Like Fruit Loops are good, but nobody. I don't care. Like, yes, I think it looks bad, but is it for me? No. Let the
No.
kids decide. Let's see how the sales go.
true. There's people that commented. They showed it to they showed, some people said, I read comments like they showed it to their kid because it was like there was like an IG. I was looking at IG posts of people who did their own. It's the same thing with like Sonic, right? When Sonic had said, as I say this, Google is listening, bro. As I say this, people took Sonic's old design versus Toucan Sam redesign, bro. I can't. Damn, look at these memes are cooked, bro. Look how they massacred my boy. Except from the Godfather. Look how they massacred my boy. I know, right? Maybe it is that. Yeah, I think people are just, I think as we get older, like change. I think there's certain change where we're open to, we're comfortable with, but there's other change that we just ain't about. And I feel like this is the change that we just like mad uncomfortable for whatever reason. Because I'm like, you're right. Fruit Loops ain't for me no more. Not the audience.
Peep game, right? Say that you are a parent and you have children that love cereal, and you're like, I don't like this redesign, but your kids really want Fruit Loops. Are you going to tell them, no, you're not getting Fruit Loops because that redesign is horrible? No, you're not. Because you'd be petty. You'd be petty, and you're going to deal with like crying and whining kids over cereal that it's just anyway. So like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, yes, it's not the greatest redesign, but at the end of the day, it's like all of the people that are complaining are not the target audience, and their children are going to want it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, because what's inside the box is still the same. All that just sugary processed goodness in the shape of loops. The shape of loops. Man, I don't know. I think probably for Kellogg's, I wonder if this is gonna be because they do this every couple of years. I would say, just to wrap it up too, is like he's not the first time he's got redesigned. I think what arguments people are overreacting because he's been redesigned quite a few times. People said over the years, and
it's the most drastic. That's all.
Yeah, this is just the most noticeable. But I feel like by the time, give it time, people are not going to remember what his old design looked like. I mean, they probably will, but in the end, like I feel like again, the target audience is not the people that are upset, which is a bunch of millennials. That there's older millennials in their late 20s, early 30s, because this cereal ain't for y'all. Ain't for y'all. If you're still eating it, that's power to you, bro. But
bro, if you're in like your late 20s and still eating Fruit Loops, like, you need to really question where your life is headed.
Damn, really? Is it Fruit Loops? Is the cereal where it's like, you know what? If you're in a bowl of soup, if you're eating a bowl of Fruit Loops at the age in your 20s, late 20s,
there's adult cereal, bro. That's not adult cereal.
It's not an adult cereal. Yo, but you mean like,
damn, it's not even high on the cereal tier list, bro.
Not on my tier list. I tell anyone if
not on anybody's.
No, I've known people that try to put Fruit Loops in like their top 10 best cereals, and no, you trust me, bro. I know people that I don't put I put Fruit Loops in like C tier. Me now, Fruit Loops in C tier. Even when I was younger, Fruit Loops was like mid B tier at best. Like I was like,
there's way better cereal, bro.
It's just better cereal. If it was a fighting game, maybe my man Toucan Sam might be dusting niggas with some pet shop tech, like in the old JoJo's fighting game. But dog, just based on cereal taste alone, my man ain't putting hands on but not a lot of people, bro. Maybe Smacks. I'll probably put Fruit Loops over Smacks, Honey Smacks.
Smacks are trash.
Facts, but I think moral of the story, change is inevitable. Just as Thanos says, I am inevitable. I didn't even make any English. Yeah, but if you're really that mad, stop buying the cereal because you weren't even buying in the first place. But if you were, unfortunately, Fruit Loops is the proof that that's the struggle cereal where you need help if you're eating Fruit Loops in your late 20s. I would say if you're eating Honey Smacks, that's a mistake. And Apple Jacks is just two flavors of Fruit Loops. Like that's my hot take. Apple Jacks, I get it, I see the appeal, but I just see it as cinnamon Fruit Loops, like focus on two like red and orange. Like Like I call it as I see it. I'm not blinded by youth no more. But let's keep the ball rolling. You guys let us know what you think. If you eat Fruit Loops and your late 20s, we ain't sorry, but let us know how you feel in the comments below. Because we're about to get into some gaming. Because yeah, we got some news for gaming actually this week. We'll just hop right into it because let's get into SF5 because surprisingly enough, it's an SF5 update. For those who don't know, as we've been talking about Street Fighter in our past episode a little bit, just with the online tournament coming up and how it's not a main event. It's going to be like an exhibition, something on the side, but it's not going to be one of the main events for this Evo. But yet, the SF5 dev team came out and announced yesterday that this is their words. They're like, because of the overwhelming support, positive support of people for the game, for Championship Edition, how much people like Championship Edition, and the direction they took the game and where it's going, they officially announced that they're going to do one more Season V or Season 5, and they actually said last, and they used the words last in the phrasing of the tweet, of the announcement. So Season 5 is going to be the last season, probably just support for the game, and it's going to be 5 new characters in 3 stages. And they're going to announce more. Probably like, closer to Evo or later this summer, with just like updates. But they gave no indication on who, on when, what was a release date looking like in terms of when we will expect to see things. But they said they'll have more news with time goes on, probably by Evo. Let's just keep your eyes peeled. But let's just get into this because I feel like we've been having this SF5 argument, back in our past lives as Future Perfect, and even now just over the years, just because this is the Street Fighter game of our time right now. After 4.
Let me bar this whole shit up real quick.
Ball it up. No. Let's just go straight into it. Who do we think is coming? Who's going to be the last 5 characters they're going to put into the game? I'm not even going to entertain Capcom like I have over the years. Who do you think the last 5 characters are going to be?
I think we're going to get 2 new characters.
Who cares about stages?
Then I think Viper and Oro. And I can't think of a hype last character except for like maybe Yun.
If you're going by the leaks, so they did say Viper. They said Oro. Sodom came up, but I don't think we're going to get. I don't know. Maybe. Since this 5, who knows? I know we're not getting Makoto. I'm waiting for Street Fighter 6 or whatever next game for another shot at Makoto. I highly doubt. I hope Capcom can maybe eat my words. I hope so, because they pretty much gave her normals and her axe kick to Seth. And I was like, yup. An SF5 past behavior, that's a sign that instead of bringing the character into the game, they just took their tools and gave it to other characters, and that has pretty much sealed the coffin on other characters who people thought were going to be in the game. So I think that is pretty much Makoto's nail in the coffin. I want to be wrong. I really do. I don't even know if she's enough to make me play the game again, but I don't know. But I would say this. I would say Viper. I do agree Viper, Oro, because Oro was highly requested from Third Strike. So I do think.
Oh, we might get Abel.
Abel, yeah, actually Abel, because of the story mode. Which, by the way, they never even finished. They said they're going to come out on part 2, but that's not important. I don't know how that might come out at the last season, or they might drop it. Who knows?
Nah, they're not doing that.
They're not. Abel, DiCapri. I think DiCapri is coming.
I don't think
back.
they're bringing her either. Although that would be cool, because I felt like she was a little hard at first, but then like I did actually enjoy the character.
Yeah.
Even though you can just backdash her ultra too.
Yeah. Over the sphere?
Nah, the other one.
Oh, really? You could backdash her ultra too?
Backdash that. When I learned that, I was like, I'm not telling a soul.
Wow.
I was like, I never know if I get into a tournament and I need that.
him after. Oh yeah, by the way, you could backdash it. What? Backdash.
Yeah, you backdash that, it doesn't hit.
Non-personal. Yeah. Because that was the no, because I was like, there was the two versions. There's the one you got the air version, and then the straight like you could backdash. Yeah, I'm not even trying to get caught up into it. I ain't even trying to get caught up into it. But I would say Oro, Viper, DiCapri, and then I'll say two new characters. I think it's going to be three characters we had in the past, and there's going to be like two new characters.
I think we might get Yun because we need for this season. For season 5, we still need one character that's like super hype. For season 3, it was
Oro's that character.
Sagat.
How much do you think Oro's that character? I think Oro's the hype character.
Nah, he's not.
It's Oro.
So season 1, I felt like it was Urian. Season 2 was Akuma. I don't remember it was Akuma and then 4 new characters.
Yeah, and I feel like it wasn't. I mean,
yeah. So they gave us Akuma early.
Was people asking for Akuma like that? Like, I'm trying to think if people were really like Akuma. I think we just got him, and people were like, oh my god, they gave us Akuma.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that people were asking for him, but it was hype to get him.
Sagat.
Sagat was 3.
Sagat was requested heavily since like season 1.
Now 4, they came out swinging. They gave us Gil and Seth.
Yep.
Which nobody really wanted Seth, even though I was like, I didn't think Seth would get in because Seth and Gil have the same voice actor. But then when I saw Seth, I'm like, oh, this nigga nasty.
You mean Stephanie?
Stephanie. So they need one more person to go out with a bang. And they have all the boss characters in there. And I think they should I would prefer not even to see the characters. I want to see, Viper, Oro, give niggas Dudley, Yun.
It's the last season though.
And
I don't know if they might go all classic. Like classic characters. The last season, I think they got character. I think what it is, because you know how it'd be. Like this was like this even in 4. Like how certain character designs came out after the fact. Like there were certain characters that they were contemplating on adding to the game. Because someone in this game, who was it? Oh my God, who was it that they were gonna come out in 4, but they came out in this game instead. Oh God, who was it? And I was like, wow, that was actually surprising. Oh my God, who was it? Damn. And I think it might have been like
remember.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I gotta find out if hold me to it, man. I gotta find out because I was like, because that's what I think it is too. I think what it is, it might even take one of the characters that they were thinking of like scrapping from 4, or characters that even from earlier seasons that it might have done for 5. Like there's still certain characters like Rashid's like aide, like Rashid's aide that has like the turban and the mustache. People like, oh
yeah, we don't need that.
Grappler. You might be a grappler.
Listen,
I'm trying to get my Turkish.
Viper, Oro, Abel, Dudley, Yun. Now that would be clutch.
If I don't get Abel, I want a Turkish grappler. All right,
or give niggas Fuerte. Give niggas that run and stop fierce.
No way they're gonna pull Fuerte out of the blue.
They're not.
No way. If they did, nah, they won't do that. No, they won't. No.
I feel like because they already have Rashid, that they won't give us Fuerte.
They wouldn't. The amount of nut they can't. We can't afford a nut twice.
I feel like in this engine, Fuerte would be like top tier too.
Yeah, because Fuerte, he'll probably have shit he'll either be really good or really bad. I feel like there's no real, like some characters came out in the middle, kind of like, I feel like Honda, when it came out Honda, I feel like Honda was one of the classic characters they did really well. I actually really do like Honda, like how they redesigned Honda. Yeah, I feel like Honda for the classic characters, I would put him as my top 3 best redesigned characters coming into this game. I would say for Honda, I think they did him well. Like art, like how he looks, how he plays, everything. But if they put Fuerte, I think he'll either be really busted or he's gonna be trash. Like he's
gonna be. They're not gonna put him in because I feel like he'd be straight up busted.
Dog, they'll put him in and make him trash, and then buff him later. Like just buff him later, and then he'll just be busted.
But I don't think we're getting it. I just don't even know if he fits in like the overall story of it.
Damn.
We'll probably get like Dan.
Stop. I'm ending the topic right there. You know who's
Nah,
listening?
but
Yo.
I do have some theories about why we're getting this though.
You have theory? You trying to let them out now, or you trying to let them
Yeah,
theories
no,
rip?
I'm gonna be quick. I don't think that. I think one, part of me feels like this is planned, and the only reason
Planned how?
because they were gonna support Street Fighter V for another year as they're developing the next Street Fighter or the next fighting game. Period.
Yep.
So I think they had this idea where it's just like, hey, if development for the next major fighting game takes longer than we expected, then we can always roll with this plan. And with COVID happening, then it's like, hey, because we can't put the resources to developing a new Street Fighter like we want to, we can go with our backup plan of releasing more characters. I don't think this is like, hey guys, thanks for the support. We're gonna do this because
Exactly.
the way they marketed season 4 was like, no, that's it. Like you get all the characters,
Facts.
and I'm gonna be pissed if I have to pay for these next 5 characters after you said that we get everything.
For Championship Edition. For real.
Yeah.
Big, real, actual, factual. And I think we're going to have to pay something. It might be like $10.
Oh, we're going to have to. It's gonna be
to.
30. It's gonna be like $20 or $30.
Nah,
But we're gonna
relax.
have to pay, and
Nah, I'm not paying any.
but I knew this is going to happen.
Nope. Nope. I'm paying shit.
Because again, like the game is doing decent. People are still playing the game because there's a tournament scene behind it. But ultimately, though, like it's cheaper and like much easier to do to develop like characters remotely for a game that's already has an established engine and everything.
Yep. And probably characters they had in their back pocket too, that they were probably either saving for the next game or characters like, yo, we could just drop them.
Yeah.
Yoke it.
Like they've designed more characters than they put out into this game.
For sure.
They scrapped some people, but that doesn't mean they just wiped the files off their hard drive.
Straight
just
up.
The characters aren't in. Like Young could be in that game. In the tub. Don't know. Like Young could be in there, like been created and everything for the game, and just not included into the, the files for the game.
Because they learned over the years from SFX.
But it makes sense to have this plan. It's like, hey, this is what we're looking towards. If things go behind, we always have these characters that we can put out. Like, there's no way that they're just spur of the moment. Well, hey guys, this is doing
five characters. Like they had 5 ready. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Like the whole idea of a season 5 has never been a spur of the moment decision. They've always planned this.
Especially
they weren't planning to drop more characters.
Happening. Yeah. Because you would think like when CPT started, when like the Pro Tour started, which was to start like what, in a week? Like in June, the online circuit, like that's when they will announce that there's a season 5 or somewhere down the line, right? But they announced it like early. I get it. The Pro Tour is going to start like literally like the Pro Tour is supposed to start after like June 4th or whatever. But you would think they would save that announcement for when the Pro Tour started instead, or sometime in like Evo, like something like that, right? Like Evo.
No,
maybe they'll have something.
You would save that announcement either for Evo or for the finale of the Pro Tour. But they knew they were going to do a season 5. The season 5 would have just been like balance changes. That's really it. But because of like the pandemic making it more difficult to work, it's easier and it buys you more time for Street Fighter 6 to put out 5 characters, because you're designing characters in an already established environment rather than creating a whole new environment in game for said characters. And I'm sure they have models of characters they didn't use. They have models of characters. They have the dolls already for crying out loud. Like we might get DiCaprio because pretty much all that stuff's there.
I feel like they showed it. What DiCaprio we got was just like DiCaprio they didn't finish. And like just the way her moves felt, I'm like, you can't put this much work in a character for Cap. I'm thinking for as in Capcom, you don't put as much work in a character if you don't have additional plans for this character. Shoot, we might even get Peter the cop. Shoot, we don't know, man. From the story mode, we don't know. We don't
Yeah,
know.
so that's my whole thing. It's just like I don't believe that we're just getting, you know, that this is just a spur of the moment thing. And maybe that's just the way people are receiving it, and that's not like how they're communicating it. But I know, like, I feel like I know for a fact that this is something that that was planned. Maybe not planned to give us characters like initially, but their plan was to give them more time for the next fighting game. And with this going on, they absolutely need more time for the fighting game, and the company can't afford not to put anything out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Because they were dead
So
silent for a bit. Like after all that CE Championship Edition was out, they went radio silent for a bit. You know?
yeah, they can't
Well, big
afford to
enough.
not have anything for a while.
Yeah, like and we said
So
last announcement was like how CPT going online. So you're right. Before we go on, what do you think? Just real quick, hot take. What do you think the next fighting game is going to be that they're
I don't
working
think it's
on?
gonna be a Marvel.
I think it's Marvel. I think
I
it's
don't.
I think so. If it's not Marvel, it's Darkstalkers.
I don't think we're getting the Darkstalkers ever again.
Mm, I think is one those IP on those characters like I feel like they did a lot of gauging. I think it's something they probably had in their pocket because they did a lot of fishing and gauging with like releasing Darkstalkers, coming out with Jeddah for MVCI. I mean we have Darkstalkers over the years pop up in another
Yeah, there's been some costumes in 5 too.
costumes in five.
I'm still not sold on the fact that we're getting a Darkstalkers.
Because Darkstalkers actually was a really big series for Capcom in the back in the day. Like it was a really like huge title when it came out. I think just for like the same thing with Samurai Showdown, they might go for the nostalgia and try to revive the series almost from the beginning. My hot take is that they're gonna try to do a similar like Samurai Showdown and try to revive the series in a way that continues, but also like revamps like the whole series. Because with Samurai Showdown, like how they did it, even with the game that like a lot of people didn't know, is just they just pulled the route of, well, let's educate people about the game as we release more information on the game and the releases and stuff like that. So by the time the game comes out, either the fans will help sell the game through hype, and then we will do our job with marketing and market the game in a way that people will learn about it and be somewhat knowledgeable when it drops. Like they won't learn about the game when it comes out. They'll know the game well enough when it does. Like with Samurai Showdown, like the history of Samurai Showdown. Like what is Darkstalkers? They literally had that for Samurai Showdown. I think that's what I think. That's my hot
I
take.
think I feel like
It's
the
not
next
Marvel.
game will be a versus game, but I don't think it'll be a Marvel game. I feel like Disney's going to give too much like pushback,
I
and we
see
can't
that.
afford another MVCI.
I think they can't because they can't afford another MVCI. I think if anything, with Disney, I think what it will come down to would be Marvel Studios will try to vouch on behalf of Disney, or to like even talk to Disney, but like, listen, like we know how to take care of, like literally let us like take just like handle it, like let us handle it so that we don't repeat. The thing is because Disney doesn't want to have another NBCI either though. Like they want to be like tight grip, but Disney doesn't want to let an NBCI though. And I think with Marvel, I know Disney, like as we know, like they can Deadpool 3. Like that got pulled, like the work on Deadpool 3 got like kind of just pulled or put on hold. I don't know, but definitely I mean what it seems like. So Disney is definitely doing some cracking down on their image for Marvel, how they want it. But for the game, I think Marvel will vouch for the fact that like let us handle it. It'll be in the light that you'll like in your branding, and the game will just be well rounded, just appreciated because even just for the hype around MVCI was really big. And even with the
And the game
game, the
was
way we look,
ass.
and then the game, there's a lot about it just needed just a lot of work. It's just over time as you when you sit down and play it, you're just like, yeah, like
I
this.
think the next thing Capcom should work on is the netcode for 5. But maybe they're just like, hey, we're about to move on from this game anyway, so they probably don't care.
Yeah, especially when next console down the line, because I think the next Street Fighter, it may still be exclusive, but who knows? But again,
yeah, that they need to not do another exclusive Street Fighter.
I
That
don't
was a
know.
pretty.
I want to say it won't be, and I think it'll be the best if it wasn't, but I don't know. And the thing is,
I
I
feel
won't
like
be
that was a bad
surprised if it's
idea.
exclusive. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it was one of the reasons where it helped like my decision. Like I wanted a PS4, and it kind of was just like, now I'm like more pressed to get it because I do want to play Street Fighter. Next Street Fighter, everybody's be playing it, but like I don't think that's gonna. I'm gonna like that's gonna sway my decision again. But yeah, that's what we have right now on SF5 Championship Edition. Their announcement for new characters. Stay tuned. We'll definitely cover whatever news updates we get. Yeah, stay tuned for that. And for that, you need to like and subscribe. Going on from there for
let's get into some quick stuff real quick.
Yeah, BlizzCon 2020 canceled. It was announced this week. Blizzard, even though the con would have took place in the fall, like last year was in November, sometime late November. They announced today that just with everything going on, they just don't want to risk the fact that even with the slow reopening of towns and cities because of COVID, they just don't want to risk another breakout, second wave, especially when BlizzCon, like a really big event with a lot of people around, will happen. So they decided to cancel BlizzCon and are planning something online instead, because basically virtual everything is the movement right now. Virtual tours, virtual events, virtual concerts, it's virtual.
No, I mean, I think things should be settled by then, but I think it's a safe move on their part. So I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, and just with everything, I really just do believe like 2020 is, like we said, it's canceled. So, yeah, if you got tickets to that or we're planning to go, sorry, you're kind of asked out. But yeah, stay tuned.
Plus these niggas are nasty at cons, bro. These niggas don't be showering and shit.
Exactly, bro. They
So
don't. Niggas out there allergic to deodorant and hand soap. It's nuts.
not everybody, but there's a good group of them.
Enough to make if there's enough to make a stench, that means there's too many. Like, and that's just throughout. If you're in a huge establishment, like we've been to tournaments where that's like they take up like half hotel venues, and bro, when there's a smell, I'm like, yo, there is too much people, or this place is too big for this smell to be hanging out throughout this whole venue. So it's a problem. Y'all need to handle it. But we'll definitely cover that more when we find out what the online event's going to be. A little interested to find out because I know Overwatch 2, I don't know if they're planning for that. So rumor has it, so going on to other topics to wrap up our gaming segment. Rumor has it that Metroid Prime trilogy is coming to the Switch. Don't know when, but but rumor has it that it is actually in fact happening. I will definitely find out more. That's all I have. Word down the grapevine is that Metroid Prime trilogy is actually on the way.
Allegedly, there was like some kind of release window released for it, but I didn't look into it. But I'm excited because I do like the Metroid Prime games. I never beat 3, but I beat 1 and 2.
I always was interested because it was like, this is a first-person Metroid Prime, and the games even back then, this is like Nintendo too. I'm like, yo, this game was like pre Dead Space, bro. I feel like that game even inspired some shit, like a lot of the games we had later on. Because when I played that game as a kid, I was like, whoa. I never played them. Like if anything, I probably only played like the Metroid Prime 1 in like a GameStop, like in my mall back in the day, in the mall, like, and just like on a beta, like the demo. And I always wanted the trilogy just so I could just get it and just actually play the whole series out.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 1 was the game that got me.
Say maybe it's me, but
goddamn
boy got a knife, Mike. It ain't me.
All right, you can hear me now?
Never beat me. Yeah, I can hear you now. I just have my
Nah,
monologue.
Metroid Prime 1 was the game that got me into Metroid. So I
Oh,
played
really?
pretty much, most of the Metroid games after that. I even beat Other M.
Yeah, Dark Samus. That's
No,
what I.
Other M was the one that Team Ninja made, where you had to play with the Wiimote sideways and then flip it forward to aim and shoot.
Whoa, I didn't know that. No, I
Yeah,
thought, I thought that game was based around like Dark Samus's character. Like that was
nah,
like your. Oh, it wasn't. I thought it was like the other. Oh,
nah.
no, no. But all right then. Damn. Oh, wow. So I wonder how. Huh. I wonder if that game
I
might
think
get
it's like
recognized.
set after Super Metroid, if I'm not mistaken.
The other M. Damn, Teen Ninja. That game must be hard.
It got annoying at some parts, but
I guess it didn't force it. They're like, no Rai Hayabusa. No need to make it impossible to play and beat. But yo, definitely like more on that. I'll definitely be covering that because I really do want Metro Prime trilogy. And I probably will hop in. If I do find out more, that might be my next big plan after I beat Indivisible I'm playing through right now.
yeah,
At zero.
I'm gonna get it. I don't know if I'm gonna run back through 1 and 2. I might,
I
beat
do a
3,
playthrough.
but
Your boy plays Metro Prime trilogy, yo.
Xenoblade comes out tomorrow, which
Definitive
means
edition. Yeah.
which means I'm buying it tonight.
Tonight. Buying it tonight, mate.
I'm telling you, like whatever accent that is, if it's like British or it's Australian.
It's whatever you want it to be, bro. Whatever you want,
What the
man.
hell is that in my MacBook? I clean
Whatever
that
you
shit
want,
up.
man.
But yeah, I'm gonna have that accent. Yo, and you know what it was when I first played it, right?
Shulk.
I played it on the 3DS.
Yo, what's Shulk's accent? Before I'm gonna let you get into it, but what do you think
I
Shulk's
don't.
accent is?
I feel like it's like some kind of like
Hybrid.
British. It, I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's a certain kind of accent that's like weird. They have the same kind of accent in Xenoblade 2.
Damn.
But
You got to hear you got to do the test. A dingo ate my baby to know if it's like Australian or not.
what's it called?
You'll be all night. But
No, but that game they're super optimistic in that game. Like in Xenoblade 2 as well. Like I thought it was just Xenoblade 1 and like Shulk where he's just like, yeah, I'm really feeling it, and it's like, nah, like they do that in Xenoblade 2 as well. Like everybody's just so happy and they're just like, yeah, this is the greatest shit ever. Like,
yo, had zero doubt in his mind that he was not, like, he had no doubt in his mind that he was not going to change the future. My man was like, I'm going to change the future. Like, it's going to get changed.
Yeah, like, I get, like, the typical RPG optimism, but they're way too optimistic.
He had zero doubt. No,
thing.
I'm saying he had absolutely no doubt in his mind. Like, I'm saying, like, he is super optimistic Trunks. Like, if they Shulk and Trunks swap places, can you imagine?
Shulk would have beat the androids first try.
Because of his optimism, just by optimism alone.
That and the Monado. He would have saw
Let
that
me stop
coming.
you right there. I can't entertain that. Nah, my girl 18 would have busted his arm like he busted.
Nah, he hit the Monado. He just saw it coming.
Doesn't mean he still won't get his arm.
And then
he saw it coming when they all got washed in the beginning of Smash Ultimate. What did he do? Got washed.
He didn't have enough time to warn everybody.
He couldn't even save himself.
Bro, come on. That shit's not.
Just because
it's not fair. Kirby survived.
Kirby survived under the will
of
an
Sakurai.
almighty God named Sakurai, yes, of the Smash universe.
There's mad people that could have survived, but Kirby did on that slow-ass star.
Bullet Witch, Bayonetta, Palutena, basically a goddess, could not survive.
Yo, the whole Star Fox team, yo.
No, I don't want to go into that intro.
Exactly. The Blue Falcon. My man couldn't even
we'll
get in his whip.
Video. No,
my man couldn't even start his whip up. He jumped in the whip, clapped.
No, his hand was still on the door. He was midair, dude. He was mid hang time. Clap. Ooh! Like I thought I heard the Bro, they did Captain Falcon dirty. The fastest man outside of a vehicle or inside of a vehicle. Homie got clapped.
I'm telling you, bro.
Okay, I would say going off of that, it was. But
yeah, Xenoblade tonight.
Definitive Edition.
Pete. When we're done with this, I'm gonna plug in my Switch and download it.
When I'm done with this, is either Indivisible, finish up Last of Us, or PSO 2.
Or the Monado. PSO 2 is out for PC as an update for you guys.
Yep, as it came out as of yesterday. I just started playing. I made a robot. I made a bouncer. My class is bouncer. I'm on like level 4.
Are you a bootcast or something?
It's like an MCAS. Yeah. It's like MCAS, CCAS or something. One of those.
Cast is like for the androids, like the robots.
Right. And I'm supposed to be like, I don't have enough. Like my photon manipulation is like low. So I'm supposed to be like
because you can't even do magic. I don't think.
Nah.
Or is it either you can't do magic or it's tied to weapons now? But in the old ones, you had no TP because you couldn't do magic because you were a robot.
That's deep.
But you had traps. And traps were kind of crazy, and you could see traps too. So
that's okay. That's how it's kind of signed OD.
We'll get into that some other day, but
because I definitely want to play more, and we'll get a review for y'all. Because you should. I'm telling you, dog. You could probably play that on your phone. Like it may be too big, but it'll take like half your phone space. But you could probably run that shit.
Bro, I don't have the space on it.
Yo. Oh yeah, it's like 80 gigs, but it's like 30 gigs on my hard drive. But no. Like we said, we'll get into that. Real quick, let's get into this. This is what's supposed to be our bread and butter topic for gaming. So pretty much Fortnite. We ourselves are not avid Fortnite players. I'm not gonna say like when we ain't fans, but we play the game. We know a bit about the game and just kind of follow the scene. Because the way Epic Games treats like this, this huge title that changed esports and gaming forever. Fortnite, recently, the devs of Fortnite came out with a change that buffed aim assist on controllers for PC users. So controller users on PC, they buffed the aim assist because this was their way. Because initially, there was already aim assist built in. For that kicked in under 100 meters. From what I was reading, that kicked in under 100 meters when you're shooting at somebody, but doesn't proc or register after 100 meters. So now this buff, apparently, the changes that they made, because people wanted this nerfed because they say this is really cheap. In competitive Fortnite, people are just switching to controllers because how busted the aim assist is for the game. That was put in to give an edge to help people out who are using controllers versus those on keyboard and mouse and keyboard. Now people are coming out and saying this balance supposedly is screwing the game, it's killing the game. The pros are all up in arms and tears, lots of tears. I'm not even trying to say that to be shady, but a lot of people are upset at the change, which begs the question, begets the question. This nigga always be grammar nonsense me. Begets the question.
I didn't say a word.
I was waiting for it. So
I wasn't going to say a word.
Begets the question, who is the true audience for Fortnite? Who's the real audience? Because people were speculating, and I think so too, it's 12-year-olds. Like, even with a huge scene, esports scene, where the money flow is coming for Epic Games, where their cash flow is coming from, is from 12-year-olds who are begging their mom, begging their mom and dad to buy them just basically everything that the game can offer. And they are the target audience, and not even the people that are pro players, because they, just like in fighting games, just like a lot of games nowadays, they're the minority. Despite that, they're putting the game in the sight, in the eyes of potential fans, potential other players of the game. At the end of the day, their money is coming from little Timmy.
Well, you kind of stole my point in this, where basically, welcome to fighting games. PC world, this is fighting games. Right. This is what happens in fighting games. This is why there are ridiculous like comeback mechanics and stuff like that in fighting games. Because at the end of the day, it's like, look, Fortnite does not get money, crazy amounts of money from the pro players. They don't care about the pro players. Like, yes, they'll have these like Fortnite qualifiers or something like that, or some other people will capitalize on it because it's such the big thing. But at the end of the day, the pro players, they're not buying emotes, they're not buying V-Bucks, all this kind of stuff like that. If they are, they're a vocal minority that is doing that. Like, at the end of the day, the pros are not keeping the game afloat. It is the casuals. It is the 12-year-old kids who will bug their mom over and over for not only the new box of Fruit Loops, but then also a skin on Fortnite or a stupid emote. Like,
there should be a skin in a box of Fruit Loops. I'm telling you, it's gonna.
Then I'm saying, like, it's not about the pro players. They do not care about your 20-something-year-old ass and your opinion of where Fortnite is going. At the end of the day, you can say that it's ruining the game, but the next qualifier, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm sitting this out. You're going to go. Yep. Because you want a piece of that money. So if you want a piece of the money, then you need to fall in line with where the game is going.
Literally.
You either roll with it or don't.
I think I have a good idea, but I might save it for I was gonna say something, but I might save it. I'll tell you. Make sure to remind me. Maybe make sure it was like, what was my Fortnite idea? Or is this related to this to this conversation? Like after,
bro, it's like this in fighting games in general. It's like in games in general. It's like you find an exploit or something, or they nerf a character, you switch to characters that are good. Like, if it means that, hey, you can't play, like, you don't want to play with the keyboard and mouse because controllers are buffed on PC, then that's something internally you need to deal with.
Yep.
Like, you need to decide, like, hey, am I going to keep my honor and play the way that I want to play, or am I going to be like chase the meta and go with controllers because I want to win? That is something that you have to decide. Like, in fighting games, like, if my characters happen to get buffed, then cool. But if they're not good, they're still my characters. So if the way I want to play is not optimal, guess what? Like, that's fine. I'm still going to play the way I want to play. Like, I've never been the person that's like, oh, well, Dr. Mario's not super strong, so I'm never going to play him again. I'm going to play Lucina. Like, no, like, I still play Doc here and there, but I've also picked up Shulk. Like, but the point is like, adapt or die, my nigga. Like,
adapt or die.
They don't care about you from the pro aspect. They're not releasing a bunch of patches for the guns and stuff like that. They're releasing a bunch of skins, a bunch of freaking dances and stuff. They do not care about the pro aspect.
Yeah, like they've done changes to like the reticles to like, I guess, like spread because of it, and I feel like all these changes that people overall don't even like, from what I've just read in the articles, like the article I read from was essentially sports, there's like this esports web journal, just basically a lot of changes that seems to be going on through Fortnite over time. It's never been unanimously like, oh, this is a super great change that they did. I'm so glad they bettered the longevity and life of the game with this change. It doesn't seem like there's anything that like unanimously everybody's been on the same page about. All the changes that they done, everybody always has some gripe with it, especially in, of course, the pro stage, from the influencers and the pro players from these changes. So I'm gonna feel like, what's new? Like, feels like something that's what's new. Yeah, it sucks that your wallet is on the line. Is more so on the line because they're appealing to the casual audience. But guess what? Nothing is stopping you from using the controller. And hey, like, literally the people who are conforming because they made the decision, they're like, what's more important to me? Wanting to play this game on mouse and keyboard and pounding, getting mad about it, or playing the game on controller because they're buffing aim assist once again, and that can help me win like the prize pool at the next Fortnite, like like major event. Like, I mean, like you gotta. So what is basically is like, can your morals be bought? Like, can your morals be bought? Like, are you gonna fight tooth and nail to stay? No mouse and keyboard. Like Epic Games. How dare you? You'll pay for this. Yeah, they don't care. Are you gonna play controller
bro.
to win the money? They're gonna dangle that check. Either you're gonna dance or I'm not even, because this isn't fighting games. Like this is what we see. Street Fighter V, all fighting games since circa what? Circa 2015, I would say.
Like 2012 at the most notable when they broke Yun's legs.
Yeah, I mean
that was like the most controversial I can remember.
Yeah, I say the end of 4, the end of Street Fighter 4.
They broke my man's legs, and guess what?
You can even look at Marvel.
Die.
Yeah, even look at Marvel, like how Marvel like MVC3 to UMVC3, where they totally took Sentinel and turned him into a toy robot, into a tin can, as people would say, like the plastic robot, because they just didn't want to deal with the past history of Sentinel being busted in every Marvel versus series since he's been in. Which I mean, I believe was Marvel 2. It was Marvel 2 was his first game, so they didn't want to even carry on that history, even like in vanilla. Like
Sentinel he had like a million point. He had like 1.5 million HP in Marvel 3, like vanilla. So that was kind of ridiculous because like that nigga just couldn't die.
He just took more hits. He had a lot of health. He just took more hits, but it wasn't even like he was. It is my take. Even like he was like busted in the sense that like he was Marvel 2, like level of Marvel 2 busted. Like I say, well, the only most relatable was because he was able to loop drone supers like he was in Marvel 2. But like in Marvel 2 though, like when he looped drone supers, that shit was like bro, like that's on top of everything else he did. Like dude oppressed you with like is unfly and like fly and unfly pressure and normals and pushes you in the corner, and then just like, and then instantly the moment he like his pressure is done, he's just resetting you again. And that you just all like it's always constantly just constant resets. Whereas in Marvel 3, this quick take is just he just had a lot of health, and he did loop people when he had the bar. But then what they did to him, like they just they took all his metal parts, melted that shit down for money, and just gave that dude plastic fucking toy robot parts instead, bro. They caught this dude in the alley on a night, knocked him out, put him in a white van, and when he woke up, the dude had a fucking Hasbro like Optimus Prime arm for a hand. Like he just woke up with parts that just was not his. But guess what? People drop Sentinel because they're like, this character's holding me back. He's holding me back. Like move on. People were still loyalists. They, we had Fnatic back in the day. There were still Sentinel loyalists. Ray, back in Marvel 3 days, like he was still a Sentinel loyalist. But like, did that really matter to Capcom at the end of the day? No. I mean, the game had X Factor, had a comeback factor. The game wasn't made to be the successor that Marvel 2 was. It was a different game. But I think overall, I think we could agree that Epic Games, their target audience is not the pro players. It's not the pro scene. It's casuals, just like in fighting games. So y'all got to hold that like we do. All right, y'all get over it. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys still make way more money at majors, because if you guys are still mad, I'm like, you trying to make subpar money in fighting games for all that work and time you put in, come our way. We definitely we got space here. We got fight sticks, whatever you want. Fight sticks controllers. Luckily here, there's no difference. But that is for gaming. That's all we got for gaming. If you guys like what you heard, definitely like and subscribe once again, so that we can keep bringing you this content. And before we get into music, Taxi, is there anything you wanna leave off before we transition?
Nah, I think I'm good.
All right. So let's just get right into it. I say we'll keep it a bean. Starting with Dr. Dre, because he recently came out. As you know, Dr. Dre, very, very successful in his own right, what he accomplished in the music industry as a producer and everything. But he had a comment to say about social media, and that social media ruins an artist's mystique. And social media is, in his how he sees it, uh, social media is a little bit of a crutch in this in the way the music world is. It's like you're being that you can't be mysterious like you could back in the day. Like he said he would have hated social media growing up. This was recently in a British GQ interview, in that he was just saying that social media just pretty much takes away what gravitates people to you as an artist. Because back in the day, it's like you could be like subliminal or just be uh basically low key with just your drops, your releases, and then when you do it, like people were like, "Oh, yo, like I guess maybe it isn't that right." Like people are not as hype when compared to how they were back in the day when a new album dropped, because like the news was far in between on updates on a new album, whereas and now all an artist has to do is just like, yo, album's done, just go make a quick tweet about it, and all their fans just know right then and there, boom, real quick. Whereas in back in the day, it was kind of like, you might hear, oh, we got something on the way, and then you might hear, might see catch an artist on some interview on 106 in Park, or or on the radio. Oh yeah, album's almost done. You might hear something like that, but like like you didn't get those updates like that as we do now on social media. Like you could pretty much track and the progress of the work of pretty much any artist that you follow or you're a fan of. So Tax, you give me your take, since you yourself as an artist. What do you make of with Dre's words?
I don't think it ruins the mystique. I think I think the way music is consumed now, that you use it as a means to advertise yourself. Like no longer are people sold on your music, they have to be sold on you. And they will buy everything else. Like you are a brand now, not just an artist. So some people's brand is to be mysterious. Like, like for a while Sia had like the wig and you wouldn't see her face. Her for the longest, like you couldn't see her face. And that
Right.
mystique was still there. Even like, people like Travis Scott to an extent, like he had sort of a mystique about him as well. So it's not that it's not there, it's just people are using too much social media to where they're ruining their own mystique. Because now, like, the reality of it is labels aren't going to put a crazy budget behind promoting you and stuff like that like they used to, because it's like, okay, you have a social media and we want you to do all the footwork, we'll just put money behind it.
Yeah, and social media, as you can see, for the most part, is free. Like it's like
Yeah.
literally free. It's free advertisement, and free advertisement where you can reach thousands to millions of people in a very quick, short time. So it's a very, very strong advertising platform and tool in today's age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
The
your
thing
point
is,
there.
the thing is too though, it's like social media may play a part in it, but it's not just that anymore. Like we have to think about it, like with the internet now, you have access to billions of artists. Billions. Like you have to
Billions, you say?
give yourself some kind of edge, or you have to give them a reason to invest in you long term. People's attention spans are short now.
Yep. That's studies even proven it. Like people's attention spans are wicked shorter now compared to years ago.
Yes,
Yeah,
you kind of have to do the social media thing until you reach a certain threshold where like you're a legend, and then you know you can pull away from it and then do it how it used to be back in the day. But the other thing that like I don't think he mentioned is like streaming has messed up artist mystique because now you have to compete with billions of artists, but then on top of that, it's like there's no hype around your release because so many artists are, releasing, and then also like, why am I so excited for this album that's just going to pop up on my phone like at midnight? I don't have to go out of my way to go to a record store to buy it.
Buy the CD, go home, pop the CD into your computer or radio or CD player. If you had a CD player, oh my God, CD.
Yeah, the way music is consumed is different. So because of that, it's like nobody like it's hard to get people hyped for your release and stuff like that. It's not because there's no mystique around you. That part I don't agree with. It's literally because of the way music is consumed, and it's like funny that he doesn't mention Apple Music and how streaming sites have affected that. More so blaming it on social media. It's really more so because of the way we consume music. Everyone has to adapt.
And this is more of his words too. Let me just even throw out more of what I'm reading here on this article from Hot New Hip Hop. They're just saying, they were just quoting from the GQ. He's like, I like mystique. I like waiting. I don't need nobody to know where I am every minute or what I'm doing or what I'm about to do. There's a certain mystique that came along with music that was entertaining to wait to see what was about to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So to that point, it's like when you hit a certain threshold, or if you come out the gate and really nail that down, you can do that. But there are just people, like, it's just people getting sucked into social media. Like, that's not the norm. There are just niggas that have to show you everything they're doing, or like IG models that have to show you everything they're doing because the likes generate into revenue through somehow, whether it just be like, paid advertisement, sponsorships, or stuff like that. Or there's just niggas that just want to show off, like, oh yeah, I'm here and I got this big rack of money and I'm at this Lambo, and like, you know what I mean? Like, rest in peace to Pop Smoke. Like, that's part of how he got caught slipping.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like social.
I'm not gonna say he was a dumb nigga showing off everything, but like social media either got him caught up.
Yep.
Like, so, but it's an active choice to reveal so much about your life, and I get that. Like, people want to be a part of your story, but they don't need to know. Like, people are just using social media to its extreme in those situations. I don't think that's a fair representation of it.
Right, yeah, because you can even compare to, even in this age, how other artists move, even with the world being super connected in social media. Like, what was the last thing we heard from Absol about his next album? Like, what about Kendrick? What about
more recently? But
more recently, but even before.
But Kendrick, people talk for Kendrick for that mystique factor.
I think it's because he is what the amount of what he generates, like, in his fandom, like the amount of, like, I would say, like, what was the word? Dedicated. I don't know if it's dedicated is the word. Like, followers. I'm trying to remember another, like a better, like, his other term for it. Like, he's just basically, his dedicated followers are like his preachers. Like, they go out and just like preach the word of Kendrick for him.
Yeah, it's he kind of has like a cult, almost cult-like following.
Cult-like following.
Yeah, and they like evangelize for him. Like,
here we go, evangelists. Yeah, evangelize for Kendrick. Like, like, have you heard the the holy word of our Lord and Savior of hip hop, Kendrick Lamar? I'm like, what? Like,
yeah, but like, so the thing is with that though is that, like, he had to reach a certain point, and then he could pull away. Some people just kind of do the extreme of posting everything they're doing, everything they're eating, that kind of stuff, because they get sucked into that. But even Dre would have never had to do social media like that. Like, this isn't a struggle Dre would have had. by the time like the internet even like became a thing, if Instagram and stuff like that just so happened to pop around that same time, Dre's already established. People are still gonna go to Dre for beats. He's never gonna drop Detox, so it's not like he has to promote that. Like he never had to play the social media game. He never will have to. Because he's already reached that status by the time it came out.
Maybe because what he did, he said when he was coming up. So I think that's what I think. Maybe when he was starting out, back in the day, like when he was just like still just a DJ before like NW, like with like just pretty much like NWA, and I guess maybe around that time, like
Yeah,
if
but
social
even still,
media
he wouldn't have had to
influencer.
do that either. Somebody else in that group would have been doing it. There's people that probably would have been
Who
more into it.
knows?
Like Eazy-E probably would have been more into it, and that could have been enough. Like
True. I feel like yeah.
Dre never would have had to do it. Like I refuse to believe that he would have had to do social media.
Is it like he just doesn't want to do it? It's just the idea in itself is what he has his gripes with. It's just
No,
I guess it just rubs him
and
wrong. It's like,
I
yeah.
totally get that, but it's like you know he I get it. You're trying to put us in their shoes, but it's like, nah, he wouldn't. And even still, like, he wouldn't be that kind of person that would do all the stuff that he's saying. It's like he would never been forced to do that. No one's forced to be in social media like that. It's just you do have to give some in your initial come up, and then you get them to a point where they want more, and then you pull away, which is what he did anyway, like to an extent, just not with social media.
So I'll say this before, if you feel like transitioning, or I'm just also looking at the time. But I would say NWA or like Dre, if they had to start out um to say, fresh in today's age, would they have would they had reached the success? Would they had an easier time reaching the success they did in their time, or would they have it a more harder time just because the way the rat race the game is now, with coming out of hip hop, definitely um it's just different,
I think,
because of social media.
I think
This is just a hot take too.
it's tough. Like I feel like it's easier to get your music out there, but I think it's harder to get on per se,
Because
or
of
like
the
really achieve that status that they did. Because like
the level of saturation in the game is way higher than
yeah,
it was
it's way
back
more
then.
saturated, but it's easy to get noticed. And like honestly, it's not very hard. Like in the grand scheme of things, like you can get a deal, you just might not get a good one. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
you can get on, you just might not blow up. Compared to then, it's like, if you got on and got signed, that means that like you were a part of a pool of artists that they were gonna really push. Like there's people that are signed to, major labels, you'd have no idea. Like
Yeah.
you could be jogging in Boston and bump into someone that's signed to like Epic, but you would never know because they're signed to some trash deal, like trash development deal, and they're not a priority because freaking so many other acts are doing much better. You know what I mean? Compared to like back then, if you got signed by a label, it's because they believed that you were going to make them money, like, and you were going to, get the backing and everything you need to make that possible. So it's different.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, from the social media aspect, like for now, like they'd have to compete with Griselda. Like, could they do it? Sure, but like even Griselda, they're not like social media niggas. They could operate like a Griselda and be fine. Like
Yeah,
what?
because I've been peeping a lot of Benny the Butcher, Pimp some Benny the Butcher as of late. I actually want to talk about what your music taste has been recently because of quarantine.
Bro, I ain't
Um,
listening to no music, bro.
Stop
Hotline,
lying to me, dog. Let's
hotline, dog. That's it.
how about we let's wrap up that way. If you I don't know if you want to get into something else, because even for because I want to hear what about, let's talk some music. We not listening to.
I'm not listening to anything right now. I'm gonna be honest. I usually listen to stuff like on my way to places but since I'm not going anywhere, I haven't been really been listening to music.
Damn, bro.
Like I've been just writing. That's it.
Damn, man. Oh, that's surprising. Like for me, it's just like I said, it was just like I've been peeping like some Bane the Butcher, from the Griselda crew. I've seen a lot of Freddie Gibbs. I just ran through Bandana,
Gangsta
Color.
Gibbs.
Yo, I'm liking me Freddie Gibbs right now. I went through Bandana. I think I'll listen to that again because like the lower half of the album, I peeped like his Colors project that he did, and it was
Try to
actually
put y'all bitch niggas on, bro.
fact and Fetty, and I don't know why Fetty was like Fetty.
Yeah, him and Currency. That's tough. That was a tough one
Yeah,
too.
I was like, ooh. Yeah, yo, I'm on a Freddie Gibbs wave right now. I'm hip. I'm hip. I'm just like, damn, I don't know how I wasn't hip before. Like I know you and
I
Byron always
tried.
talk about Freddie Gibbs, and that's when I peeped. I mean, Paul Olive was where I think Paul Olive was where it was started. And then it was like Crime Pays, and I was like, all right, let's see where else. Like
Man, that crime pays, boy.
that crime really does, baby. I feel
Man, I
like
was trying to show y'all niggas Automatic on that Freddie EP, on that Freddie album. Go to when you start working out, put on that Automatic. See if you'll get a couple extra reps in.
I get reps off of Palm Olive. Palm Olive be getting me right. Palm Olive been getting me right since we had that on a playlist back in Future Perfect days. But like
yeah, you put on that Automatic, bro.
Let me find out.
You'll be benching. You'll be like, nah, put 2 more 25s.
Mid bench.
Mid bench.
I'm like, it ain't heavy enough. It ain't heavy.
Facts.
I'm like, dog, you want to put the bench? Nah, I'm holding the bar up. Put the weights. That's crazy, bro. Relax. I'm like, whoop.
Nah, but yeah, I really haven't been listening to anything. This quarantine, like I said, I'm not really going anywhere. And like, if I am, I'm doing a lot of writing.
Bro, the walks.
When I do the walks, I've been writing, bro. I'm listening to beats.
All right, no, I respect that. If you're in the creative bubble, I respect that highly.
Yeah, like we working on some stuff. Like Driven 2's about to drop soon.
Driven 2.
Yeah. I haven't heard all Driven 2 because the agent's like, yo, you always be trying to take beats I have for Driven for Hotline. And I'm like, well, I mean,
it's your fault for making them.
but he got Driven 2, and I think he might drop another Summer Shootout. Hold on, you're froze. Big dog. Yo. All right, and we're back.
Yeah.
Brief technical difficulties, but we are back.
Yeah. I can way too much smack. No, actually, no. I'll say what I was saying before I get disconnected again. Yeah, dog. Tell your agent stop making good ass music, good ass beats, bro. Okay, that's not gonna. That's why you keep taking them. If you don't make good beats, you won't have a problem with you. And if you have a problem with that, I'll come to them on a spaceship because that's right there. See that spaceship right there? Right there in that, bro. Come to on a spaceship.
That's deep.
In Arizona, say what up?
Nah, but yeah, we've all been grinding, man. And we got some stuff in the works.
As always, shout out to the agent.
Yeah, shout out my man Agent. His birthday's actually next week.
Word.
Yeah.
Yay. Wait, what are you doing?
Huh?
You know what he doing? What he doing for his birthday?
Nigga, quarantining.
Doesn't matter, dog.
Actually, I think Arizona's open, so I don't know.
Nigga, sip a bottle of Henny in the desert. Out here. Feels like the Sahara. Still got a bottle of Henny. Oh, I know his beard is hella husky. I already know.
Nah, he ain't even growing his beard, bro.
What? It's too hot for that?
Nah, he just kept cutting it. He said he might grow it back, but you know what I mean? He just jealous of the nigga's prosperity, you feel?
You know what I mean? Feel me down. What? Yo.
Prosperity.
It's on the hairs. It's on the...
Fix.
It matters. It matters. The hairs on your chinny chin matter. All right?
Nah, but,
I don't know about that prosperity. I'd be struggling. Struggle boys, yo, holla at me. can't. It takes you a minute to grow this beard, bro. This
Get you
quarantine
some
made me
beard
mad.
oil, boy.
I got all the beard oil, bro. I just can't be saved. I think I'm about to have have that Lex Luthor complex, bro. They could try everything in his bald headed try everything in his head to like try to match Superman, but can't. And just be a hating ass, bald ass. That's how I be feeling. I'm like, this was Lex feel whenever he fails to thwart. Yo, I can't talk, bro. Thwart Superman. Thwart. Man, I'm down in my vocabulary. I don't give a fuck, dog. I don't give a yuck on you niggas, bro. But yo, let's get into the Doja Cat real quick. Speaking of vocab, because Doja Cat out here wilding out with her racial vocab in this tiny chat recently. This was covered by I peeped this. I found this out through Abba and Preach. As we mentioned, I be peeping their videos. They got some good content. Check them out. You might like what you see. Interesting conversations. But basically, Doja Cat was in a tiny chat room, which is pretty much like people say it's similar to, was it Kibli? What is it? The other, like this, it's like chat rooms, chat roulette. There's these chat rooms that you could just make or get into. And she was in a chat room with what looked like to be other white males. And I say this because what was going on in the conversation, pretty much, Doja Cat being known for being open with her sexuality. Pretty much, she was just like getting in her. I would say she was feeling her loins, bro. She was feeling her oats. She was feeling her oats or something.
She's getting her freak jaunt back.
Yeah, she's getting her freak jaunt back, and then some comments came out. Someone said, nigger with a hard R. Just you can bleep that out, whatever. But just for context.
Bro, I'm not gonna be able to go back. I'm not gonna be able to go back and edit that shit. It don't matter. Yeah, but listen, because apparently, like she was saying it. Apparently, yeah, she said it. Apparently, they said it.
And she was getting off on it. With it. And in terms of like, what's that kink there? Because because it was pretty much because she made a response video. Because she responded to Aber and Preach's.
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just be pretty much talking down to, especially there is like a thing with being talking down to racially, especially when it comes to like interracial, like black, white, or whatever multiracial relations. That's a thing. And as strange as it sounds to me, even just saying the words, there's people who are into that shit, like that are just into it, and I don't get it. I don't know where the kink is. Like feet's one thing, whatever, but talking down to, especially that, I don't know. But
let me open with this, right?
All right, yeah, no,
because I feel like we're going to go in the same direction everybody else goes, right? So let me ask you this: does this surprise you?
I see this from this comes from someone I have not even heard. I'm trying to think if I heard Doja Cat, her music. I might have heard one track because I don't know her music. I just know what type of artist she is. Like she's supposed to be like this, like her music. Is it like somewhat like troll music, or her music is like just literally about like her sexuality and experiences, and she's just like mad open and raw in her music, and some people really like it and just like are fans, and she like blew up. Like apparently she's like South African, and apparently Auburn Preach they had history like with like her dance crew back in South Africa. I was like, what? I don't know if they were making that up. It was a joke, but they're just saying like there's like I say it doesn't surprise me given from from the limited knowledge that I have of her as an artist, from her music. But what does that? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what does that kind of. But does it make it okay? I'm not gonna go in there. Yeah, I say I'm not. But
no, it definitely doesn't make it okay. But I was talking to someone about it, and I'm just like, yo, like, why does this surprise anyone? Like, the signs are on the wall, or this is the kind of person she is. Like, it's very clear that this is the kind of person she is. She's, they found tweets of her saying like mad racist stuff.
Yeah, that did also come out.
Um, like mad stuff where it's just like this doesn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise anyone. I'm like, this girl has been telling you for the better part of 2 years the kind of person she is, very blatantly, and because you want to be so like, oh, pro women, pro, like,
Oh, your
support
kinks,
her.
all that stuff is. I'm like, this is
I gotta
beyond
clean
kinks,
that.
bro.
Yeah, but like because you want to be so pro women and pro black women and stuff like that, which isn't a problem, but at the same time, it's like you need to know who you're endorsing.
Right, and
Like
giving
people,
somebody, she's really young too. Well, like young in the sense that like she's like 24, 25.
bro, but like
And then like I'm like, you feel that way? I'm just like, you must have been through some stuff. And I mean,
no, she grew up. I assume because like even when I lived in
because
southern
she's mixed.
Pennsylvania, yeah. Even when I lived in southern Pennsylvania, there's people like that all the time where it's just like, yo, I went to a majority white school when I lived in like York. And, like there were black people like that liked that kind of stuff, that liked being called the N word and like joked about racial stuff with their white friends and stuff like that. And I'm like, nah, that's sick. Like that's self hate. Like that's stupid.
Yeah, it's self hate.
That's
It's literally
but
self hate. It's self hate. To me, also,
but
it's self hate.
but this shouldn't surprise you from the female equivalent of Tyler the Creator.
True. She did have a shirt that was like inflamed graffiti and hentai in her response video to Aber and Preach, which she was just saying like she was writing off. No, well, her side of the story. I don't want to say write off because basically
No,
her
so
response
basically she
was
put out an IG live post or whatever,
22
which
minutes long.
well no, so sorry. She put out like a written statement which is probably from her publicist. And then she started, shooting herself in the foot on IG live.
Saying that she was drunk, saying that she was like blackout drunk, and as everyone, as a lot of people, as I'll say, and I'm not speaking for anyone. I say this that when you're drunk and you're in that state, what you say, what comes out is your unfiltered thoughts. It's
Exactly.
you unfiltered. It's you just shooting from the hip. That's what I'm saying. You're shooting from the hip at that point. Like you are not held by like the notions you would be when you're sober, and you're quicker to shoot, and like you're less inclined to really think about what you say or how you feel. You're just coming off straight feeling, just like that's just you. So that doesn't. So then when she says that, I think this is where you're going with it. That her being drunk doesn't help her argument at all. It actually makes it worse.
Yeah. No, it's like niggas don't care about that shit. Like
Bro,
it's just I was just
like
more in shock about how people were in shock.
I'm shocked how thick she was. I did not know how thick she was, but I don't even want to. I just had to say it out. I'm sorry. I had to just like, damn, the girl's thick. But I think, damn, you give me that look. No, I just have to. Like, I'm just saying, like it. I think it for me it came as a little surprising because I just how popular like, different people, different backgrounds, like she's a fan, like they're just like a fan of her, and she's just like her internet, like she just blew up. Like I just know it was like I see this name Doja Cat all over the place, and I'm like I don't even know who this artist is, whatever. Like I just don't know, but I know they're really popping right now, and to see this happen and come out. Oof, man, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look for us, and I guess it just begets the bigger problem of
I still
just.
think people are gonna forget in 2 weeks, but
I hope not, because that's the bigger problem.
she
Is
put out another banger. Niggas will forget.
I don't know, bro. If I see a full body picture, I might forget. Damn, it sucks being human.
She should have showed her boobs like she said she was going to. They wouldn't have dug all this stuff up.
Stop it. Stop. Stop. No. No, I don't know. I'm not trying to feed my energy in that direction, especially seeing like, because I was, before going in, I was like, damn, I never heard about Doja Cat. And I was like, who is this? And I'm like, oh, she kind of, but then I was like, good thing I mean, I say good thing, but just, nah, man, I'm not trying to go that rabbit hole. I'm questioning a lot of decisions. I don't know, man.
Before we go, I do want to send condolences
Right.
to, George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, Minneapolis gentleman who died because a police officer pretty much had his knee and all his body weight on this gentleman's neck, and he wasn't able to breathe.
Yep.
I do send my condolences to his family.
His loved ones. He had two.
Yes.
He had two daughters. When I was looking more into the story, yeah, he had two daughters.
Apparently, I guess the cop or police involved may have lost their jobs, but that seems to be.
Yeah, they all lost their jobs, but now.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
Charged. Yeah, a lot of
no,
people.
that always happens. Oh, they go on administrative leave, so you get paid while you decide whether you want to fire this cop or not, and then
just to die down. All right, safe to come back to work. Yeah, okay, not.
Yeah, and then they don't get charged in murder, for murder. No, you you wear that uniform and bear that badge to protect the citizens, and when you're proven to not protect the citizens, you need to lose that badge. When you've proven
Period.
that, you have a disregard for the lives of the people that you're supposed to protect, then you don't need that badge. You damn sure don't need your freedom. That is what it takes. Because and I've been silent about this because I didn't really want to talk about it at all, especially with everything going on in
just
social media. Then
yeah.
the protests going on because people were rioting and looting, and people were trying to march peacefully, and they weren't giving them the ability to do that.
Nope, but they were tear gas and rubber bullets.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily.
They got too big, apparently, supposedly. But no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm with you. But
no, I just think honestly, it's let me get my thought together real quick.
Yeah.
This cop has a proven track record doing stuff like this.
Not just one of them, knee on him. The other one too had he had a charge for excessive use of force. Back, it was a couple years ago.
Multiple.
One of them was one. One had it was the one that had a knee on his neck. He had this. It was there was a case looking at how much police force or basically I think even gets another officer. So I don't have the officer, and he was involved. I can't remember the exact name for what it was to charge, but it involved I guess maybe an officer was hurt or life was lost during some type of confrontation on the job, and then he was questioned for that case. And I don't know much details about it, but he has history. One of the other officers, because there was 4 in total, and 2 were clearly identified, and there's 2 that were their names or whatever not identified. I don't know if that's still the case now, but they did. I know that all 4 were fired, but not their name was publicly put out there. But one of them was the Asian cop, who he was the one that had multiple charges of police brutality, excessive force, history of that as well. Because the thing is, it's not only the fact that he had the knee, he had his full weight on his knee, on his neck, and just and I saw the full. I finally saw the full video today.
I couldn't watch the whole thing.
It just feels different because, I mean, I'm glad we have adult rating on our channel, but it's just the fact is, no, this shouldn't even fall under that category. I think this is something everybody needs to hear, all ages, it needs to be made clear. Like when you watch a video, when you watch that, and maybe this has to speak to the sensitivity of just the world now, and you see, because they already announced that when he passed out on the scene, like he went into unconscious on the scene, and then even when they after they brought him to the hospital, he he was pronounced dead, like he didn't like fully regain consciousness or anything, like he passed since then. So seeing the moment where he was just like, he's on the ground and he was just like, I can't breathe, like he's like please, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And then like as time goes on, you see people with cameras, see people are filming, people are like trying to intervene, like asking the officers, demanding like why that need for all this force. Like he's unarmed, he is not resisting, and yet he's treated that way. And then up to the point where the ambulance finally comes, and then you see him not responding. Like you see him like he's out, and the way they they carted him, they put him on, they put him on the stretcher for the ambulance. And then it's just like that's where it hit me, that I was like, that was it. Like that was the deciding moment where, like two daughters lost a father, family lost a loved one, like, friends lost a close friend. And like, and we as a race, we as Black people lost, another brother to this type of violence, brutality put on us by authorities. It really does begs the question, what is it going to take? What is it going to take? And
Yeah, and I mean, like, who more importantly is going to police the police if they're not?
how are we supposed to trust the ones to protect and serve, where they're like, instead of protect and serve, is, search and destroy, shoot
So
first, ask questions later. Like that's not.
my thing is this, right? If you kill someone, even in self-defense, you can go to jail. If you kill a cop, even in self-defense, you will go to jail. But if a cop kills you, they get paid administratively.
People really gotta. I think people can't take this on the chin. I think now I think we might see something. This actually may be really the spark of something, because I think compared to, I mean, I hate to say it, with this, like the past, um the past lives that were lost to similar acts of brutality. You have your Trayvon Martin. We just had Aubrey.
Yeah, and then someone else, I think Breonna Taylor,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, passed away
yeah.
too. I don't know enough about that, unfortunately, because I don't know that, like, this stuff gets
Phil Castillo, like,
Orlando Castillo,
yeah,
like,
Orlando Castillo. There you go. It's just, I think it's just, there's a limit to everything. Everything has a type of limit. You can't just you can't expect, to do those acts and expect the Black community to take it lying down, and to take it on the chin. Like I said, like it's gonna overflow. It's like eventually it's just not. It's gonna be too much, and then you're gonna have a real situation on your hand where, you know there's gonna be real changes have to be put in place. And I'm not even trying to say this to come off threatening or anything like that, but unless these changes really come to, like, we're gonna see way more acts of radicalism, like just radical acts, um from people of frustration. And
yeah,
like, and then I only say this is just so that I hope people are ready, because I say this just as a warning, not as a threat. Like, just be mindful that there is people out there who, you do what we're going through right now with COVID and the shutdown, people losing their jobs, people are putting in positions in states of just almost hysteria, almost like with the way that the state of the world, that people are going to push back when life pushes at people. People push back. Eventually, people will push back.
Yeah, there are people that can't or like refuse to just kind of handle these situations, peacefully or just kind of like to themselves, like and internalize it, you know. And even still, like I'm not saying that they should. Like this is something that needs to be addressed. It's like, we're dying. Like we can't like imagine being. Well, you don't have to imagine this,
I
but like
don't. We don't have to.
you know, think about back when like Boston was like really bad, like when gangs and stuff like that was like really bad here.
Really bad.
So not only, because when I first moved here, not only did I have to be careful what street I went to, what hat I wore, who I talked to, what colors I
What
wore,
colors
but
you?
then I also have to be careful of like, oh, now I have to like be mindful of undercover cops profiling me and stopping me, and then not possibly turning into something bad. Like it's just ridiculous, like how we get
I've
treated
had
in
that
this
happen.
country.
I've had that happen. Surprisingly enough, people make it sound like, oh, it's not that. No, I've had undercover cops approach me and friends, and under the assumption that we were up to something, and to whatever their surprise was, there of course there was no misconduct to be found, and we were, and I mean, I guess we were fortunate enough that of course these cops were reasonable, and they apologized, explained why they did the thing. Not saying like we were treated like poorly, but there was definitely some profiling that was done.
Yeah, like I just
And
moved there one time, and they were
geez,
like, "Oh,
man,
you look
it's
like a
not a
sus."
joke.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here! I just moved here.
Yo,
You're
dog,
talking about, oh, I look like some like you look like
boy,
sus.
man, I'm not even. I know. I mean, this is, believe me, this is supposed to be. We didn't even plan this to be this long. We really didn't. But I mean, I think right now I'm letting my emotions take the wheel, and I know I've been working on being way more in control of my emotions. But I think this is my one of those times. I might just let it rip because it's not a joke, man. It is not a joke. It.
No, it is really frustrating because like you know as much as like we have friends of different races that treat us with the utmost respect and care about our well-being. It's just knowing that like especially here in America, like black people's lives are valued probably the least.
Least like people don't understand that the only reason why these acts take place and this happens so frequently and like unjustly frequently and even handled even in the court of like whether when the justice system does get involved poorly is the fact that the people who are committing these acts look at black people less than human. I'll say this one more time. They look at people of darker skin less than human, especially particularly black people. And
Yeah,
that's the only way that that cop could in his mind register that he was in the right, that
he wouldn't have done that to anybody white.
he wouldn't have done anybody else. And I mean, people will say
He
no,
wouldn't have done that to anybody white. I guarantee it.
and not a soul, not for a whole 9 minutes, full body weight on his neck, literally pinning
He
the person
wanted to
down.
kill him.
Facts, unarmed, but like unarmed.
He wanted to kill him. There's no
Complacency.
reason why you should have your whole body weight on someone like that for 9 minutes or whatever. Like,
And
no,
three
you
other
wanted.
cops there too, basically there condoning the behavior because none of them stood out. One of them just had he was having his hands in his pocket. I'm not trying to get hot about this. I am getting hot. I was hot about it earlier.
No, and That's why I haven't been trying to talk about it. But now, like, we're here,
Look,
so it's
cat's out
just
of the
like,
bag.
nah,
We
like,
here.
you know, they, you know, they all deserve to go to jail. Like him for doing it, and then them neglecting their duties as police officers. They better not ever be able to, you know, pick up a badge again. Like you
Serve or
failed us.
anything.
Yeah, you failed
Yeah.
us.
Shoot.
Like you deserve to go to jail.
And
That
forget
might not have been
even
you.
owning a gun. They shouldn't even be able to even have a registered firearm. I don't give a flying huck, bro. Like shit, bro. It's
Yeah,
not
they're accessories to murder. They deserve to go to jail.
holistically. Anyone else in that position, put anyone else in that position. Put black people, reverse it. Flip the narrative. If you think that was a fair situation, put just legit flip the narrative. Put a white person down who's getting pinned down, someone of fair skin, not black, and make the officers all dark skinned, fair tone, or black. And I promise you, the narrative would have been so different right now. And that is what frustrates me. It is just like, if this country is supposed to be about freedom, prosperity, for all, and justice for all, literally in the damn anthem that I learned through elementary school growing up. If it's really supposed to be justice for all, then please say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's all it is. If that's not the case, well, there's consequences to everything. And I mean, I'm coming off as really threatening, but it's just because, like, whatever the consequences are, they're merited by the way.
No, but that's the reality of it.
That is the reality of it.
It's not even you being threatening. It's just like, look, like,
someone will take that as threatening. Trust me.
People are going to react a certain way, like the looting and the rioting that's happening. Like, I'm not saying it's right, but from a psychological standpoint, I understand, because the people that are supposed to protect and serve us have failed us.
And the system has failed us.
The system, all the way down to from the police officer to the justice system, which is supposed to do stuff about this. Like, let that have been like a normal person that done that to another normal person. That person would be in jail right now. They are only being delicate about it and being nice about it because these are police officers. Let them have been just 4 regular black people that had done that to anybody, and they would be in jail and they would have to bail out or bond out. But because these are police officers, they're like, oh, we got to protect our brotherhood. Like, if people start getting mad and start, killing cops and stuff like that, if just shit goes wrong, like, I'm not, like, it's going to get bad. Like, people are going to get tired because they're not going to feel like, they are being protected by the people that are being paid to protect. Like, your job as a cop is not to protect the upper middle class. Your job as a cop is not to protect the white people and stuff like that, or the Asians or whoever you see for. Like, your job as a police officer is to protect everybody in your district.
And that's what I'm saying too. It's just like, trust me, we're both upset. We're high, so y'all can tell. But I am telling you, if you think we're upset, we're being threatening, there's people out there who will take matters into their own hands.
Yeah. That is the sad reality of it.
That is a fact. And that what is it gonna result in? It's gonna result in more bodies. It's just gonna result in more bodies. And then it's gonna feed the cycle. But honestly, you people can't point the blame. It's not us. This is that video. I will sing that. Let me get my thoughts together 1 second. I will speak out with what there was the video covering a news reporter was talking to a young African American male on I guess on the day of the riot. And I'll end my part with this. And he was just saying, like, getting real emotional. It's just like, we know now, like, it's not us. It's y'all. It's not us. It's just like, you guys have the problem. It's just like, it's not us. Like, I don't know how many times it has to be said to be heard, but it is not on the hands of black people. It's the hands of the justice system in this country, and how it is repeatedly and continuously has failed not only black people of Minneapolis, but throughout this country, past, present, and I pray not the future. But here we are again. I said my piece, bro. I don't know. Sorry, I wish I could end this on a more positive note, but man, anything you want to say before we close?
Just be safe out there.
Yep. At the end of the day,
that's it. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, man. Tune in next week. Catch us for another episode of Floor Seats. This is Zan signing out.
We out.
Deuces.
Peace.